Hey, what's going on, all? I hope you all are having a great day. My name is Kieran Schross. We are continuing with our series for our deep dive with Azure PIM. If this is the first video you're watching, you're more than welcome to watch the rest of the videos. I would urge you to. But if you're just here to figure out how to assign a role in PIM, then that is fine as well. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to be doing a lot of work within the Azure portal with Microsoft Entra. We're going to just beat up Microsoft Entra for this video. So what we're going to be doing is assigning a role to a user. It's going to be our test user one. I put the users there, all my test users there, because I wanted to make sure that I stayed with it within the video. Sometimes I could just kind of freestyle, and I don't want to do that for this one. And then we also have assign a role with a restricted scope. So I'm going to show you how to do that, because you can do a role with the directory, and you can also do a role with restricted scope. And then I also want to assign the application administrator role that has role settings applied to it. So the reason why I put that out there is because you can have role settings, and I kind of went through that in the last video where I talked about role settings and how you can set them up so you can have certain roles that you're like, okay, I'm not going to allow this role to have a full year of being eligible or be permanently eligible. I'm also going to restrict it for, every 30 days. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that as well. All right, if you could please go into your Microsoft Entra portal so that this way you can follow along. And what we're going to do here in this first one is we're just going to simply just go ahead and assign a role to our user. And I believe it is our test user 33, I believe. I mean, it was test user 1, apologies. So what I'm going to do is go down here, and I need to go into identity governance, and then I need to go to privilege identity management. Within privilege identity management, I'm going to go over here into Microsoft Entra roles. So what I'm going to do next is I need to go to my roles, and I'm going to go ahead and add an assignment. So you see when you go to add an assignment, it says resource default directory, and then you get to select the role. So for this one, I'm just going to choose a role, so I can just do any role right here. So I could call it Azure DevOps Administrator, and we have our directory scope there. I'm going to come over here to users, and I need to look for test user 1, and I click select, I click next, and in here you have the option for assignment type. So you have eligible, right, and then you also have active. So once you go ahead and you choose either one that you want, you can also do permanently eligible if you want to, but I can say, no, I don't want it permanently eligible. I want it only for a certain time frame, and I could put that time frame in, and then for this one, it's going to be for a year. I can change it if I want to, and I can say, okay, I'm going to do it for up till September 1st instead of that long allocated time, and then I would go to assign. So now if I were to come here, Azure DevOps Administrator, you see here, you have it on the eligible assignments. I can see what eligible assignments I have. If I have any active assignments, I don't, because it's not over here. Now, if I come back over here and I say update, and I said, no, I want this on active, and my justification is because I want to, and I click save. When I refresh this area, it's no longer going to show up here, and now if I go to active, it shows up here. So we're all good in that manner. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is assign a role with a restricted scope. So back over at the Microsoft Entra page, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to come over here, but this time I'm going to go into identity, and then I'm going to go to roles and admins. Okay, so once you get to here to the roles and administrators, there are certain roles that you can do the scope with. So the role that we're going to pick on today is going to be the user administrator. And one thing I want to point out is right here, it lets you know what your role is. So when you get into this page, it says your role global admin. And then another thing to point out as well is they have this new column here, which is privilege. So it lets you know if the role has a privilege, like if it's a higher role. So it's a good call out. So it's for anybody who doesn't really understand or still learning the Microsoft Entra and permissions within Azure. So right here, our user administrator is a privileged role. So I'm going to click on that one. And then next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add assignment. So for this one, you see there's a scope type, and I can change the scope type. So if I want to do like administrative unit, I can do administrative unit that I want. So I can have, you can have administrative unit. So you think of administrative unit as a logical container, and you would have a specific area that you're saying, okay, this is the area that I want you all to have more rights in, but I don't want you to have rights in this area as well. So it's really how you design your cloud infrastructure so that this way you are allowing your team to have permissions only where they need it. So it's a good way to implement least privilege. So over here, when I go to select scope, it's showing me all. And I could say, all right, you know what? I only want you all to have these rights within the America South administrative unit. And then when I check that off, I need to make sure that I remember the user that needs to be working with this one. So we have user 33. So I need to look for my user 33. I don't have that much users, so here we go. And here we have user 33, and then I click next. And then I can either do eligible or active. So, you know, just a reminder when it comes to eligible or active, eligible assignments require the member of the role to perform an action to use the role. For active assignments, they don't require the member to perform any action to use the role. Members assigned as active have the privilege assigned to the role at all times. So that's one thing I really don't recommend is having people active at all times, because if you get compromised within your organization and somebody gets into that account, they're just going to automatically have access to do whatever. So imagine if it's a global admin, they'll have access. But if you're eligible, if somebody gets into your account, they go ahead and they say, all right, this account doesn't have any rights. Let me go and request rights through PIM. And if they request rights, let's just say if it's out of, let's say it's 1 o'clock in the morning, that's a red flag. Then you could say, okay, this account was compromised, and it helps, safeguard your organization. But what we're going to do is we're going to do active. And I just said all that, and I'm doing active, right? And I'm going to say, I don't know, testing this out for Cloud Scholars video. And then I will assign it. Okay, so we've got 2 things done on the agenda. Let's look at the third thing again. So the next one is to assign the application administrator role that has role settings applied to it. So what I want to do is I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to Microsoft Entra roles, and I'm going to roles. So I'm looking at the application administrator role, but before I do that, I want to go to settings. Now, I talked about role settings in an earlier video, and you can see here we have role settings applied to help desk administrator and application administrator. Now, one thing I mentioned before is each role you can have different settings to. So one of the best things you can do is any privileged role, you can say, okay, what's the maximum duration? And you can set a template within your organization so that this way you're following some type of convention, right? That's the word I'm looking for. So activation maximum duration, this is 3 hours. On activation require MFA, require justification, but it says expire eligible 6 months. So let me go in here, and I'm just gonna go through this really quickly because I went through this before, but I want to show you expire eligible assignment after 6 months. So I have it on 6 months. I can put it, matter of fact, let me do 3 months. I'm gonna leave it to 3 months, and I'm just gonna go update. But I want you to notice something. When earlier when we went through those roles, they were giving us the ability to do it for a year. But now, if I would go to roles, and I click on application administrator, and I go add assignment, and it's for the directory, and I say, all right, I'm going to select my user, and I go user 22, and I click select, when I go to next, look here, it says maximum allowed eligible duration is 3 months. So you can change what you want for your organization. So if anybody tries to do something for 6 months, 8 months, they'd probably go a very long time, right? If you don't put those constraints in there. But what we're doing is saying, no, we're going to say for this role, the max duration is 3 months because we need to, it's a significant role and it has a major impact in our organization. So then we could say eligible, and then we can say assign. And then that's pretty much it. All right, so in this video, what we were able to cover was assign a role to a user. We did assign a role with restricted scope, and we also were able to assign the role to the application, a role that has role settings applied to it. And one of the great things about this is you can see here that each of these roles within the portal, we got emails letting us know exactly what we did. So you see role Azure DevOps Administrator. That was one role that we did as well. And we see this role as well was also updated. So you're getting emails for each of these roles. And I'm going to go through more talking about emails and all that other stuff. We have another one that shows up, user 33 to assign as user administrator role for America South administrative units. And then we also have user 22 is assigned the application administrator role for a default directory. So we were able to get emails letting us know what happened. So that's one of the great things about doing things through PIM and assigning those roles is because, you know, all the assignees, the approvers, everybody's getting emails letting them know what's going on and, you know, how the roles are being delegated within your organization. So I hope this video was informative, beneficial to you all. I really enjoy making these videos. If you haven't done so already, please take the time and smash that like and subscribe button. Also share it with a friend. I have tons of videos on Azure. I'm rolling out a lot more videos on Office 365. If there's anything that you're looking to accomplish, please, you know, put it in the comment section, something that you're really inquiring about. Plus, if you're looking for any kind of help or contract work or even mentorship, I have done that as well with individuals in the past and helping people out so this way they can grow within their cloud journey. So once again, I want to thank you all for watching this video. My name is Kieran Tross. Here at Cloud Scholars, my goal is to get you from scholar to consultant, and of course, consultant to expert. Thank you, and see you next time.